So we have been studying the Hiranyagarbha Sukta, and now we are to enter into the third mantra. So we, in this, as just to recall, the Hiranyagarbha Sukta is from the Rigveda, the 10th book, Dashama Mandala, and the Sukta number is 121. So we have so far studied the first two mantras, and then we derived from the meaning of the mantra a name relating to Mahavishnu also. So the first mantra we derived it as Keshava. Keshava is broken as Ka, Kasmai Devaya Ka, who is the Parabrahman. And then Isha means when the absolute Brahman becomes the creator of the universe, the Hiranyagarbha becomes the Lord, Isha. And when that enables the universe to exist, Vartate, Va, so Ka, Isha, Va is Keshava. So Keshava is one of the epithets of Vishnu. So Parabrahman, that is the absolute Brahman, as the Lord Ishvara, he makes the universe appear and function. The second mantra points to that Hiranyagarbha who gives us the life force, Atma or Prana, and then he gives strength or Bala. So we are going to see later on in the Yajurveda when the Narayana Upanishad comes, Narayanat prano jayate manas sarvendriyani cha. So here what is he saying? The mantra is saying here, this Hiranyagarbha, the absolute Brahman, is giving us the life force and strength. And this life force and strength is later on called as Narayana. So therefore the second mantra actually refers to the name Narayana. So the first mantra is Keshava and the second mantra is Narayana. So thus...
I'm sorry, can I ask a question? So you said the absolute Brahman, he appears as the Lord Ishvara, or he becomes?
He becomes.
Okay.
He appears means he... But then again, this is so subtle. It is just like the sun is there, but the sunlight is everywhere.
I see.
So it is
So
not
Brahman
this.
would be the
Yeah, it is
sunlight?
not the sun descending to illumine this particular area of the space. So Parabrahman doesn't descend or come from somewhere. Then what happens? We are giving a name and a form and a location. So the absolute cannot have name and form and location. But the mere presence makes everything happen. The mere presence of the sun in the sky is enough to create the light everywhere. That means every single unit of illumination on whatever is illuminated, sun doesn't come down. Just like that, the mere presence of Parabrahman, the absolute Brahman, it is enough for the entire universe to function. Just as our having breath is enough. The cosmos has got breath. That breath is flowing through us and out, in and out. We think we are breathing. See, we have this sense, it's a feeling that, okay, here I am, I have got a nose and therefore I am drawing the air from outside and I am exhaling, and all that is really not correct. That air is on its own flowing in and out, but in the meanwhile it is giving us the sensation that we are actually breathing.
So, so then when you said then, is it Brahman or Ishvara that gives us form, that gives the universe
Here
form?
it is Ishvara.
That's right.
Because Brahman by definition cannot do anything. The sun is not doing anything. The sun is absolutely not doing anything whatsoever. It's just there, that's all. But the rays of the sun,
Feeds everything.
they create the light as well as the heat. So just like that, who is that creating the light and the heat? It is Ishvara, the rays of the sun. That's why the sun is considered as the Pratyaksha Deva. Yes. And the Pratyaksha Brahman. So the third mantra now continues by saying, Ya pranato nimishato mahit त्वैक इद्राजा जगतो बभूव य ईशे अस्य द्विपदश्चतुष्पदः kasmai devaya havisha vidhema. This is in volume 3. What this Hiranyagarbha Sukta is what we are studying. So that one we talked about. Yaha ekaha. He, that is the one. That one which is, the Narayana Upanishad is saying, Sayeka Deva Narayana. So that one, this is a Raja. Sa it Raja. So who is this one who is cannot be parsed, who is pure, who is shining? Nirakhyata Shuddho Deva Eko Narayana, as described in mantra number 2. That one, here Deva has to be translated as the light, not a deity, because it is shining. That light, that pure light, it, the word it means which is moving. It means moving, Sanskrit. This moving light, so why do we call this as Raja? It comes from Ra, means to shine. Rajati. Not only that, Raja also means Ramanatvat, means it is also pleasing. So it is not a harsh light which scorches us or blinds us, but it is also giving us a lot of happiness. See, this is why traditionally what we do in our culture, the mother calls her son very endearingly as Raja. The child may be given so many other names, but when the mother is showing so much of love for that child, calls him as Raja. So the reason why that came in our culture is because it is that child is illuminating your life with pleasure on the one hand, and it's also pleasing, and therefore you endearingly call Raja. So pranataha, so this Raja, who is one in the form of breath, entered into us. And not only that, it has to give us movement. So what is movement? Movement is not just the body moving, but it is a movement in time. So all movement can be measured only by means of time. And therefore the Rishi uses the word nimishataha. Nimisha actually means blinking. Nimisha is not the minute. Nimisha is blinking. Nimisha is the time taken for a cow to blink once. If they say human blinking, then we would manipulate the time. So this is the least perceptible unit of time. There is more, it can also be divided further. It can be divided further into shorter spans of time, but we cannot perceive it. The shortest time we can perceive is Nimisha. Nimesha stutibhis saha. Aruna Prashna, isn't it? Nimesha stutibhi. Stutibhi is a fraction of a Nimisha. Then you have got Ardha Masa, Ritavas Samvatsarascha Kalpantam. So you also go adding a number of nimishas to make into a day, a fortnight, a week, a year. So, but the lowest common factor is a nimisha. So, what does this Narayana do? He creates this nimisha. And then where does he place this sense of time? In the microcosm. He places the life force prana in the microcosm. He places the unit of time in the microcosm. That is why all the beings experience the passage of time. Suppose I ask you, how do you know that time is moving? What is the reference point? The reference point is that Narayana who is there in you, giving you that sense of movement of time. And the sense of movement of time is also backed by your breath. So this is why what happens when you do pranayama and slow down your breath, the duration of the nimisha also slows down.
The duration
Of the passage of time also slows down. See, that is why why do they say that if you do pranayama, your longevity will increase? Why is it your longevity increases when you do pranayama? It is because you are also stopping the movement of time as far as you are concerned. So we get confused by looking at the clock, or we get confused by looking at the movement of the sun and the moon and the day and the night. Actually, the Lord gives you the control of the passage of time. And not only that, how can He do that? Mahitva, by His greatness. Only the absolute great, enormously powerful entity called Parabrahman can do. So therefore, what is it saying? Pranato nimishato mahitva eka raja jagataha babhuva. Only one entity existed in the universe. Jagataha means, Jagat also means movement, one who moves. So the creation of both the macrocosm and the microcosm was that one, ekaha, which moves down in the form of prana, life force, and in the blinking of all the living animals. How is this possible? This has been made possible because of the Mahima, or the glory of Paramatman. And this glory belongs to only one. This glory cannot be shared by many devas. Therefore, sa ekaha. And what else he does? Yaha asya dvipadaha chatushpadaha. For all the living bipeds and the quadrupeds, He controls them. He say. This also means that we are under the control of that Parabrahman. That means we cannot even resist. See, when you say somebody is controlling me, there is a resistance. It is not even a resistance. There is not even a resistance because He is the one who is inside as Antaryami, who is the controlled, and He is the one in the universe who is the controller, and therefore this controlling and controlled, both of them are Him only. And a movement is accorded by Him, and to that Ishvara, in other words, that Ishvara who, because of whom all the living beings live, to that Ishvara we shall offer our oblations. Therefore, Paramatma, Parabrahman is the indweller, Antaryami. And also He is the indweller of the entire creation. The entire creation, if you just imagine two circles, one circle within another circle. So you find the center of the circle. So there is one center, around that there is a circle. With a bigger radius, we have an outer circle. The outer circle is the universe. The inner circle is the microcosm. They share only one center. The center of the microcosm is also the center of the macrocosm. And therefore, from this center, this one, by his Mahima, by his Mahitva, by his shining Raja, he is able to move both the universe, macrocosm, and the microcosm. And that is why all our movement is also in tandem with the universe. It's in tandem. And that is possible because this entity is power. This entity is power. is all pervading. And this entity is a center of everything. This, in a very simple way, our own Gita Acharya says, Maya tatamidam sarvam jagadavyaktamurtina matsthani sarvabhutani. So that is the exact commentary on this mantra from the Bhagavad Gita. Now this concept was also used later on in the meditation, according to Chandogya Upanishad. At the microcosmic level, you contemplate on your own, this center, the center of the smaller circle. That's called as Dhara Vidya. There are so many Vidyas that Chandogya talks about. This is the Dhara Vidya. And then a cart driver, like what teachers say, the King Janashruti, also in Chandogya Upanishad, he will teach him what is known as Samvarga Vidya, another Vidya in Chandogya Upanishad, where you meditate upon the cosmos. So both of those meditative practices have their root in this ancient Hiranyagarbha Suktam. So this is cryptic like a sutra. You can even call it as Hiranyagarbha Sutra. So this sutra is to be expanded later on in the Upanishads and also in the Bhagavad Gita. So we'll see more in the next class. Looks like very simple, but lot to think about.